for their work. We started in January on this legislation, and their legislation, how we drafted it, is intact here, and I want to thank Senator McCain and Senator Graham. The leader on the Iran sanctions, going back many Congresses, has been Senator Menendez. And I just really, in introducing him, want to thank him for his leadership on the Iran and also these other bills, and look forward to his comments.
Mr. President, let me thank the ranking member for his kind comments. Thank the chairman for his continuous engagement in this regard and leadership. I remind my colleagues that what gave us the vehicle to consider Russia and North Korea was the Countering Iran Act that I was pleased to author with the chairman and with the ranking member and other colleagues in a bipartisan approach. And when we started on Iran, there were those who only wanted to look at its intercontinental ballistic missile violations. And I and others persisted and say, wait a minute, Iran is far more in its nefarious activities beyond intercontinental ballistic missiles. And it was a collective leadership that brought us to a much broader bill that we are about to vote on today, where Iran is being pursued for the violation of its international order. We just had the Prime Minister of Lebanon here, and he was talking to us about, if you're concerned about Hezbollah, then find where the source of money, and the source of money for Hezbollah is Iran. And if you are concerned about intercontinental ballistic missiles, I would add, it's Iran. If you are concerned about the greatest exporter of terrorism, it is Iran. If you are concerned about human rights violations within Iran, it's the leadership of Iran. So this is about sending a message to Iran that, in fact, when you violate the international order, there are consequences to it. It's about sending a message to Russia that when you violate the international order, you annex Crimea, you invade Ukraine, you indiscriminately bomb civilians in Syria, and then when you try to affect the elections of the United States of America, you have a cyber attack, from my view, on the election process, that whether or not we can debate whether or not it affected the election or not, that is not the issue. The mere fact that Russia tried to affect our elections should be upsetting from the average citizen to the President of the United States. And we have an opportunity to make it very clear to Russia and to any other nation that that won't be tolerated. And then finally, to North Korea. North Korea's dangerous provocations in its path to nuclear weapons and a delivery system to be able to deliver that nuclear weapon is one of the greatest challenges we have. So we have an opportunity here to come today and say, you've got to observe the international order. We got to go back to the rules-based basis that ultimately came about after our leadership in World War II to preserve the international order that has brought us peace and prosperity. And there are only a handful of peaceful diplomacy tools you can pursue. One of them is the use of sanctions in order to try to prod countries to move in a certain direction and to observe the international order. That's our opportunity today with Iran, with Russia, with North Korea. And I hope we'll seize it unanimously, because when we do that, we send the most powerful message in the world that the United States, Democrats, Republicans, Independents stand together in terms of defending the national interest and security of the United States. I yield the floor, Mr.
Mr. President, I thank the senator from New Jersey for his outstanding leadership on Iran and his leadership both on the Russia bill but also North Korea. You have led us for years and years in sanctioning Iran and brought them to the table, and I thank you for that. For those who are here and want to vote, I'm going to yield 1 minute to Senator Gardner. I'm going to speak for about a minute and a half, and to my knowledge, we'll be ready to vote. And I thank all of you for your patience. Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and appreciate the opportunity to talk about what this Senate did last Congress. Last Congress, we passed unanimously the North Korea Sanctions Enhancement Act. This legislation that we're about to vote on builds on the success that we started out with last year. But we have more work to do to stop the crazed Kim regime. I thank the chairman and the leader for committing to further conversations on North Korea, further action that needs to be taken.